3, 2, 1.
And now, you're tuned into the Navarro-Miller Report, featuring the hottest in news, entertainment, sports, and all those topics for the mainstream audience. The Navarro-Miller Report.
Examine your reality.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Navarro-Miller Report. I'm your host, Dave Navarro.
And I'm Jeremy Miller.
And Jeremy, I have been seeing you in forever, which was a freaking vacation. Thank you for that. Appreciate you on that one.
Such a nice break, not having to deal with you.
Like, for real, that's one of those things where I just like, when can I get another one of those? Can I get another one of those, please? Just one more.
No, because unfortunately, we have to go to these events together and stuff. I have to see you outside of the podcast. It's awful.
Hey, don't blame me because people want to see me too, okay? I mean, come on, I'm not the only famous person around here anymore, all right? People love me. They love me, I tell you, they love me.
Keep telling yourself that.
I am, that's what I'm saying. Wanted to welcome everybody to our live broadcast, and apologies that we haven't been here a little bit. We've had scheduling conflicts, plus the rain's been acting up. But we're back here, and thank you for joining us here on this live broadcast. Now, as Jeremy actually mentioned, we did see going to an event, actually, not what was it? Was it last Sunday? It was last Sunday, right?
It was last Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, it was last Sunday, and we wanted to show everybody the event, but we had some technical difficulties on Monday, so we are here to show you this event. It was a great event, but you know what? I mean, I'm not going to speak on it too much, Jeremy. I mean, you were there. What do you think of the event?
It was an awesome event. It was a benefit by Black Widow and Black Widow Justice to help promote and raise funds for the No Chance Foundation, which is a really cool foundation, and just a great group of people. Really fun event, fun music, great food. It was a really awesome time. So we got a little bit of footage here for you guys to check out and kind of show you a little bit of what the whole event was like.
Awesome. And of course, I had fun doing this as well. This is actually a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed filming it. It was a great event. So go ahead and check it out.
Here with the Black Widow herself.
Hello.
She's the one who's responsible for this incredible event, and I just wanted to let her tell you guys a little bit about the No Chance Foundation, about Black Widow, and what they're trying to do in the community. So, what are you guys all about? Why did you decide to get involved with this?
We decided that people needed long-term help. They need not just a Band-Aid, but if we could change one person's long-term, he could turn around and change the next person. So we are all about longevity. One family at a time, one person at a time.
That is absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Guys, check out No Chance Foundation. Check out Black Widow. They're doing some great work here. really some awesome events. Check out the events that are coming up. We're going to be here next month as well, having a great event. So come on out and join us. And
Thank you so much. We appreciate the support.
Got to tell you, that was actually a really fun event. The food was delicious. For all of you that are listening to us on our audio apps, if you want to check out the footage, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel for the replay so you can check out all the footage, all the fun that we had. The bikes were amazing. Especially there was one bike that was dedicated to Kobe Bryant. It was all Kobe Bryant out. Like it had his number and number 8 on it. And at the very front of it, it had a picture of him and Gigi on it. It was beautiful. The entire event was absolutely incredible, man.
It really was. It was, even though I had to put up with you, it was a great time. And
the food made it all worth it, though.
The food made it worth it, definitely. And like I said, just some great people. So if you guys get a chance and you're in the area, check out the No Chance Foundation and check out Black Widow for the upcoming events and fundraisers they're going to be doing, because it's a really good time.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And again, this was a Mardi Gras event that they did. They had a lot of great food out there. They had some, Southern cuisine. They had, of course, because I'm Salvadorian, they have pupusas, which is funny because Joni has had them before, but she doesn't remember. So we had to give her a little taste reminder of it, and she enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, they were so good.
And she also bought a candy apple, as you saw in the footage. She was very happy about the candy apple.
By the way, we tried and was insane. It was insanely good.
Nice. We had a great time. I wanted to welcome everybody to the stream right here. Deborah, thanks for she actually said something funny. She actually said, I just gained 100 pounds just seeing all the food.
Yeah, it was a little rough on the stomach, but man, it was well worth it. It was so good.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. It was definitely we got JC Strickland saying, gotta say Jeremy rocked that purple shirt, and Joni Miller looked amazing too. So stop telling them lies. Anyway, Joni looked great. Him, I don't know, he looked like a small version of Barney. But anyways,
I was waiting to see where you were going to go with that. That was all right. That one was okay.
That was okay.
I'll give you a pass on that one.
All right, cool. But as we would, we would have it, traditionally we have it here on the show. Again, hashtag Jeremy Got a Freaking TikTok is still going strong. And I have a couple of TikToks here for you. One of them has to do with, as we all know, when we get on planes, we get a little bit nervous. And I've seen other videos of the stewards or, flight attendants that are there that pretty much give you the rundown about procedures and emergency procedures and things like that.
Ooh, are we going to see a different? I love these.
These are going to be a different version
ones.
Of it.
They're awesome.
Yep, we're going to see a different version of it. Hopefully this has actually had me cracking up. I don't know if you've seen this one, Jeremy, but this is actually pretty funny. So go ahead and check it out.
If you do decide to leave, you will not be allowed access back on board, and parachutes are not included. Here at Frontier Airlines, we like to keep up with all the latest fashion trends. In the event that this flight becomes a cruise, all of you lucky people get your own itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikinis beneath your seat. Minus the itsy bitsy teeny weeny and you get no polka dots. Once you're outside the aircraft, pull down sharply on the red tab that's on the front, or for those of you who love to make life difficult, you can blow into that red tube near your shoulder to bloat. I mean inflate. The beautiful bikini is equipped with a water-activated light. How in the world that works, I have no idea. So if you figure it out, please do let me know. And if by chance yours does not inflate, well, grab your neighbor and hold on for dear life. The location and use of life vests for your child that shows the most potential is located in that safety information card. If needed due to a loss of cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop from the compartment over your head. Ignore those and grab your nearest flight attendant to get some air. I'm just kidding. I'm so lonely. Once you stop screaming, place that mask over your nose and your mouth. To adjust, pull on the elastic tabs on either side. Make sure to adjust your own mask before assisting your favorite child, another passenger, or your husband who's definitely screaming louder than you are. And let's be honest, only those of you that pay the extra $49.99 get any oxygen. Smoking of any kind is not allowed on the aircraft, unless you're like me and you're smoking hot. Thank you so much for your attention. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight to Colorado Springs. And for those of you who didn't give us your full attention, good luck.
Oh my God, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's the type of stuff that, you know, you just like look back and you're like, I gotta go back on Frontier Airline for that.
That was pretty funny. He was incredibly creative. I absolutely love the guys who can do that, guys and gals. That was really awesome. I remember one guy we had, I believe it was on a Southwest flight. I don't remember his whole spiel, but when he got to the seatbelts part, he basically was, you know, explaining how to buckle them and started making fun of anybody who couldn't and didn't know how a seatbelt worked. And then basically said, if you can't figure it out and can't get the seatbelt to work, well, kiss your butt goodbye. And
you gotta love those.
It sticks with you, but it's great. It's a great icebreaker, especially for people who are maybe a little nervous, a little uncomfortable. I mean, I know. I've been flying since I was, 7 years old. And during the show, I traveled every weekend. I mean, I was on a different plane every single weekend flying somewhere. So I don't get nervous anymore. I mean, I really don't. It takes it's like I told you that one time, flying back from a convention, and I've got Lorenzo Lamas and Todd Bridges in my row and all of these guys and a whole bunch of actors and actresses. And we lost 5,000 feet of altitude like that. I mean, we literally lifted up in our seats. Everybody turned into crying little kids. It was like, and literally as we settled, I think it was Lorenzo had his hand on Todd's chest. Todd's got his hand on my leg, gripping the hell out of it. And I'm literally reaching over and I've got Lorenzo's shoulder. So we're like all across each other, just like, oh shit. It was really funny. But no, I don't get really, nervous anymore, but it's still fun. And it kind of breaks the monotony and the, boredom and agitation of travel nowadays when a great flight attendant does that.
I had a similar experience actually on I think it was my 23rd birthday, something like that, a few years ago, and I was so nervous. Shut up. It was just yesterday. So what happened was that I was on my way to Vegas, and I was actually flying out of Burbank Airport. And I was nervous. Like I'm scared of flying. I'm mostly scared of the taking off and the landing part. Those are the two that I'm freaking out about all the time. The flying, not so much, unless there's like crazy turbulence. But from here to Vegas, it's not a huge deal. But the pilot actually made it a lot. Like I forgot the spiel that he did, but the entire thing was freaking hilarious. And I was like, okay, that made me laugh and that calmed me down a bit. So I was okay with that, but yeah, it's definitely cool when you have flight attendants and when you have pilots that go ahead and ease your nerves a little bit by putting in a little humor, because they all know that you're nervous. You're some people are very nervous of
Even
flying.
if you're not nervous, just travel, flying, it is a stressful situation. People are agitated, they're tense, and that goes a long way to settling people down and putting them in a better mind frame.
Agreed. This next TikTok is actually a very short one, but it has to do with our first responders, our healthcare workers and everything, how hard they work, to the point that sometimes they're a little out of it when they get home. Check this out. Talk about being completely out of it. She actually, and in the captions, she actually said, that's how tired I was, that I didn't even notice that I was doing this to my camera until I was like, and then like the part where she like kind of like shakes her head like, wait a minute, you're home. You're not still at the hospital.
Anyone in the healthcare, who works in a hospital, who nurses, doctor, I mean, they will tell you that is no joke. I'm not to feed into the stereotype, but everybody knows it's pretty true, is Joni's family being Filipino. There's quite a lot of nurses in her family.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that is a pretty accurate depiction.
Oh, dude, and Joni was a bartender, I was a bartender, but there was one point when I was bartending, worst job I ever had really was at this Mexican restaurant. And the thing is, it was worse because of like how difficult it was. Every single thing every drink we had to do, we had to handcraft, and they had me in the well. Now, if any of you aren't familiar with what that means, the well is usually where you get where you prepare drinks for the entire restaurant. Like tickets are just coming in, and you have to just prepare all those drinks for the entire restaurant to put it on the servers, thing or whatever, and then just have them take it out. Well, it got so bad. I was like in my first week of training, and I just kept on hearing that damn freaking printer just print. So bad to the point that I actually had a dream. This has never happened in my entire 6-7 years of bartending. I never had a dream like this, to the point that this job got so bad that at one point I actually dreamt I was there, and I woke up and I was like, oh my God, the printer. I actually reached over to the printer. I was like, wait a minute, I'm home. Never mind. It was just a dream. I'm okay.
Too good.
It was so bad. But yeah, that happens. That really happens when the work is so intense like that, when you're like out of it. But anyways, this last TikTok that I got for you has to do with what happens when mama gets pissed off. Check this out.
So yesterday, I caught a couple of people keying the side of my Jeep and puncturing its tire. As soon as I caught them doing it and I asked them what the hell they were doing, they took off running saying, "Get fucked, Quinn." And luckily, my awesome neighbor over here has a Ring doorbell camera, and he caught their faces while they were trying to run. We gave the video file to the police, and well, as it turns out, it's a couple of teenagers. The police asked me if I wanted to press any charges, and I said, well, can we go talk to them first? The police officer goes with me to their house, and the police officer knocks on the door. A lady opens up the door, and he asks if these two boys lived here. And I could see the anger and the fear on this lady's face. Shit. Yeah, this is their mama. She calls the kids to the front door. The kids get to the front door. They see the police officer and they see me. They actually looked shocked. They looked shocked until they looked at their mom. That's when I saw the fear. The mom looked at them and said, "What the fuck did you do?" The police officer started to say why we were there. The mom put her hand up to the police officer and said, "No, I want them to tell me." Now, I don't believe she was trying to be rude to the officer. I think she wanted to hear it from her fucking kid's mouth. The older one piped up and said, "We keyed that guy's car." This kid wouldn't even look his mom in the eye when he was talking to her. This kid was fucking scared of his mom. I showed her the picture of what the damage they did on the side of my vehicle with their keying, and I showed her, look, they also punctured my tire. The boys looked at each other and said, "Whoa, nuh-uh, we didn't puncture a tire." The mom whaps him upside the head. She said, really? You think you're going to get out of this because this man is saying you punctured his tire and it clearly looks flat and you're saying that you didn't, but you think you're going to get out of this by taking a tone with him? Like you're some innocent little kid? The kid holding back tears says, Mama, I promise I didn't puncture no tire. And I actually started feeling for the kids a little bit because I have a mama who, when she is mad, I am scared shitless. I know that fear. I chimed in and said, well, maybe they didn't puncture a tire. Kind of looks like it has some curb rash on the side of it, so maybe it just has a slow leak due to my own fault. It might be a coincidence that my tire's going flat at the same time when they keyed my car. I don't know. Mama snapped her head around and was like, don't you dare make excuses for them. I jumped back. I did. I was like, motherfucker. All right, I'm sorry. The police officer had to turn away and chuckle a little bit. I'm like, dude, I'm scared. He said, I am too. Mama said she would cover all of the damages and gave me all the cash that she had at that point in time. She said, don't worry, in a few days, I'll make sure you have the rest of the money. Plus, these boys are going to come wash your Jeep every single day for them.
Oh, hello. I lost Dave.
Arg! I pushed the button on my fucking mouse. Oh, Lord. Are we still on?
It says live.
Oh, no. I pushed the button on my mouse. That's what happened. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I swear. I'm so over it. I'm so over technology sometimes.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
It's just like all of a sudden you disappeared. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh my God. Hopefully everybody's still on here. Hopefully everybody's still good because I'm still like, I pushed one button on my mouse and everything just went boop, gone. Oh, fantastic. Anyways, well, suffice it to say that happened to those two boys. Everything, man, I got to tell you one thing. When it comes to mamas, you don't mess with them. You just don't. My mom, I swear, I would have done anything like that. Anything like that. Oh, I needed to join the FBI Witness Protection Program from her.
Oh, are you kidding? That's the same thing with me. I mean, on a much smaller scale, we were just messing around. But there was this guy who was not the nicest guy on our block. And around Halloween one year, we silly stringed his car. My mother ended up having a conversation with him, and then I ended up having a conversation with my mother's belt. So
yep, facts. That's pretty much how it went. And it's so funny, I'll never forget it. Like,
well, I can tell you another one. I mean, wasn't me, but Joni and I were pulling out of a parking space in a parking lot, and these two kids slammed into our car. I mean, just absolutely hammered the side of our car. They were racing through the parking lot and they hit the car. And then they tried to bail out. Well, you know, Joni, that is not going to happen. She gunned it and chased them down, followed them all around the area we were in before they tried to lose us in their own apartment complex. So they ended up rushing into a parking, center, parking and running out and trying to disappear. Well, we parked right behind the car. Called the cops, and the cops came, and there's Joni. Oh, I was exactly. So these people, the cops come and they find, from the license plate, they find where these people live and they go to the house. Now they had us stay at the car, but apparently it was two kids who had stolen their mom's car and gone joyriding.
Oh no.
From what the cops said, the mom was, so pissed off. I mean, just livid, like these children might not be alive today.
Oh my God. Yeah, I seriously, I never did anything so extreme because I feared for my life. Like
Hey, fear is a good thing sometimes.
I did little things here and there that was kind of pushing the envelope, you know, like it was like, okay, you're treading on thin ice here. Let's not go overboard here. But yeah, I was more afraid of my mother than my father. Like my dad, when he punished me, he had a heavy hand, never left bruises or anything, but his hurt. That's why he never really did it. But my mom, she was the one that was in charge of that all the time. And she hurt. Like again, no bruises, nothing like that. Not like, oh, punishing your child when well, blah, blah, blah. No. Like there's a difference. And I had an argument with somebody about this on TikTok. I said, there's a difference between punishing and beating. My parents punished, enough for me to remember not to do it again. So, treat your kids the way you want to treat them. But, my parents, they punished me. They did their work on me and I deserved it.
Exactly. I had a healthy fear of my parents. That respect is not a bad thing. I'm sorry to disagree with modern day psychology, but, that fear is a valuable thing in teaching you, to behave, because there are a lot bigger things than you to fear in the world. And you need to learn that young.
Well, I mean, my dad, I love my dad. Him and I, we have our moments, as you know, Jeremy. We have a lot of our moments. But I love him to death. But like, he's a very wise man, and I think I've said his saying before on here, and I'll say it again. He always used to tell me whenever he punished me, or after he punished me and tried to like make me understand why he punished me, he would say, "Son, I'd rather punish the child of today so the law doesn't punish the man of tomorrow." Mm-hmm. And those are wise words I live by. And thanks to that, I'm not, I'm not, freaking knocking over, 7-Elevens or anything like that, I mean, but that's what in my opinion, that's what good parenting is like you said, healthy fear. I mean, I like that healthy fear, and that's the way it goes. And these kids, I'm sure they learned their lesson after that. What was funny is just like, is the cop and him both like, she's like, no, don't try to make excuses for them. He's like, okay, never mind. I was trying to help you guys out. You're on your own.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the mama bear.
Not at that point. No, at that point it's on and cracking, And he was like, when they even looked at like he even looked at the cop, he's like, I'm afraid. He's like, so am I. Even the cop was like, I'm not messing with her, dude. Yeah. But that's a good parent right there, to go ahead and be responsible, take responsibility, and be like, these kids are gonna go ahead and they're gonna go ahead and work off the damages that they've done. So good parenting right there.
It's too often you see nowadays parents are just willing to make excuses for anything their children do. So I love the fact that these children are going to learn consequences.
And we have we have Carl right here saying, okay, my dad was 6'6" and 280 pounds and chief of police. What do you think my life was like?
Oh, Carl, I feel for you, baby.
Ooh, that's tough right there. That's a tough one right there. We got Deborah that's also commenting. He's like, yeah, my mom is terrifying when mad, LOL. She's kind of like Kyle's mom from South Park. Oh my God. I bet you anything, if we all got together and told our stories of what our parents, were like, oh man. Yeah, it's and then we got JC right here. This mama bear punished the right way and proves parents can be creative without being physical in punishing their youngins. I mean, yeah, for some parents it works. For some parents it does work, to go ahead and do it. And also, like, it also comes to a point where parents also know when to stop physically punishing their kids.
A good parent does.
Exactly. Like my mom, when I got to a certain age, she stopped physically, using the belt. She actually would use a chancla, but that's beside the point. That's more of a Latin thing right there.
Not just Latin. It's called, they'll call it something different, but that is very Filipino and Southeast Asian as well.
Dude, it's crazy.
You'll get that chancla flying across the room, baby.
Oh, and moms, they have crazy accuracy.
Yep.
Like they have crazy, like it's almost like a boomerang shot. It's like, she's like, haha, you missed, dunk on the other end. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Like, how did you do that? Oh my God. It's so funny because Joni, She actually did a mama move this past weekend on when we were at the event. And it was the funniest thing because this is something my mom would do. It was crazy. Like, she brought me back for a second. So I'm in my bag. I brought my backpack with me that had all my camera equipment, everything else. And I'm in there and I'm trying, and she has the funnel cake, because that funnel cake that they made, that was actually for me because I'd never had funnel cake before. It was my first time trying it. And we're there and she's holding the plate and I'm holding the bag, and I'm like, dude, I can't find my lens to put on my camera, because I'm putting my camera away and I need to like cover the lens up to protect it from scratching. And I was like, I can't find the lens. I'm looking for it. And Joni's like, give me the bag. Let me look for it. One try. And she found the damn thing. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that?
She didn't even look in the bag. She just stuck her hand in and pulled it right out.
I was like, dude, seriously, that's something my mom would have done. My mom would be like, go look for this for me. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, Mom, I couldn't find it. It's like, if I go in there and I find it, what do you think I should do to you?
Everyone has heard that one of their parents say that.
And Everyone. I'm so bold. I'm like, go ahead and look for it. I dare. Go ahead and do whatever you want. After you find, she's like, okay. She'll come back like literally 10 seconds later. And I'm like, you put that in there. I know you put that. You planted that in there. You had it you're screwing with me, aren't you? Most of the time she would just crack up laughing. She was like, oh, you're an idiot.
Well, I always loved and agreed with your mother.
Yeah. In that point, I tended to agree with her too, because I don't know how she did it. But yeah, I had that moment with Joni this past Sunday, and it brought back good memories and very disturbing ones. I kind of had a tick afterward the entire time that we were there. And Joni's like, 1 second. It took 1 second for her to find it. Ay. Gotta love moms.
Too good.
Anyways, we got some great news for you guys coming up. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the TikToks. But Jeremy, we got something going on with a substitute teacher. What's going on over there?
So, we have a substitute teacher in North Carolina who apparently prepared for his day at the middle school by packing his backpack with a half-smoked blunt.
Oh, wonderful.
A baggie of marijuana, and multiple multiple cans of twisted iced tea. It was discovered after a strong smell of marijuana was smelled coming from his classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And he was subsequently arrested and charged with possession of multiple substances, as well as possession of those substances on a school grounds in proximity to children.
Oh, wonderful.
So he's in deep shit. And let me just say this. I know teaching is hard. My mother was a teacher, and her least favorite students to teach were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. They're terrors. They are absolute terrors. I get it. But seriously, you need a blunt, backup baggie of weed, and multiple cans of alcoholic iced tea to get you through the day. Wow.
That's pretty bad.
I didn't know it's gotten that bad.
Oh my God. And Deborah, actually, she's saying she's a teacher herself. So, I mean, well, Deborah, can you answer that question? Has it gotten that bad?
Has it gotten that bad, Deborah?
I remember, oh man, it's crazy because when I was in high school, we actually, and this is after I graduated, we had suspicion that both my economics teacher and my science teacher were doing stuff. Like they were doing like some illegal narcotics separately. Of course, I don't know. Well, then again, I don't know if they did it together. Oh, and Deborah just she went ahead and confirmed. Yes.
Well, God bless you for what you do, Deborah.
Oh Lord. Carl McDonald saying poor Willie Nelson. Both the economics teacher and science teacher, the science teacher actually got caught. There was police that were actually called at his name. Well, I'm not going to mention his name, but he actually passed away. Or rumor has it that he was found at an abandoned hotel in the trash can, dead. No idea how that happened. It was kind of sad, but yeah, he actually ended up getting arrested and fired for to this day. We're still not sure if he was actually making the drugs in the science lab or what, but it was something to that effect. He was doing cocaine, so I have no idea.
So you have Walter teaching at your school,
Yeah,
basically.
right, no doubt. And then, of course, my econ teacher, I actually liked her. She was a lot of fun. She was so like stringy and so wiry. Turns out that we found out that she was actually doing cocaine as well. I'm like, oh, well, that explains a whole lot.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Oh my God. Deborah saying, she's saying, I work with preschool kids and kids come in smelling like pot.
That's not a shock. I am a proponent of medical marijuana and of even legalized marijuana under certain regulations and things like that. But there are way too many parents that you're hearing about nowadays that are leaving stuff out around kids, that are doing it around their kids. So that's sad to hear, Deborah. I don't like hearing that at all.
Oh man. Yeah, that's insane. Well, gonna go ahead and move on to some entertainment news. Gwyneth Paltrow, as we all know, won her ski case. And as we all know, it was actually against a retired orthodontist, Dr. Terry Sanderson, that was actually suing her for a little over $3 million for damages and other such things. And looks like the jury actually was in favor of Gwyneth Paltrow, and she was awarded $1. And it was a symbolic gesture that she was actually looking for, because obviously she doesn't need the money, and she's not looking to like make any money off that. Her main goal here was to clear her name, her good name. Obviously, we know that Gwyneth has not been involved in anything scandalous through most of her entire career. And for this to come up with something that she's like, okay, I need to prove myself that I'm not the person that this person suggests that I am. So therefore, we're going to go to court. We're going to go do this, and I'm going to win. And sure enough, she did. At the end of it, she took it one step further, and basically she walked up to Dr. Sanderson, and the news reporters asked, what did she say to you when the jury passed the verdict and when the case was dismissed? And he said, basically, she said, quote, I wish you well. I mean, that's a classy thing to do, even Absolutely. Win or lose. I mean, Gwyneth showed class by even wishing this person well, even though this person was trying to sue her for a lot of money for something that was not her fault.
Well, that's what it seems like. I mean, again, we don't have all the details in the case, but one of the jurors actually did come out and speak on why she made the decision she did. And it would appear that there was footage of this guy, actually traveling around the world within weeks of this, accident happening and over the next couple of months. But he was claiming brain damage and he was claiming all these injuries, yet he's flying all over the world and traveling and doing all this different stuff. So it was, they just said it came off as a little disingenuous, and that they believed Gwyneth Paltrow's testimony, and that it was a discussion that she's an actress, she's good at pretending and portraying what she wants to hear, but they kept that in mind, that they found her very believable. So glad she was able to clear her name. It's sad that, people are often looking for a payday from, people who are well off and in the public eye. It does happen all the time.
Did this ever happen to you at all?
Well, no, I mean, not like that. And I was a kid when the show was going on and the popularity and everything else was like that. So I didn't really get into situations like that being as young as I was.
Well, lucky for
and
you.
And it was a different time. I mean, I got into some fights. I got into some stuff that if it probably happened now, maybe somebody would have turned around and tried to sue me. It's definitely possible. I mean, I was a bit of a, hothead. So,
right. Well, Jeremy, I'm going to go ahead and sue you. How about that? I'll go ahead and end that streak.
Good luck with that.
Sue you for what? I have no idea, but I'll figure something out. Sexual harassment. There you go.
Well, that's just good publicity for me.
Right? Oh, Lord. Well, I mean, I'm glad that that everything worked out for Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, again, it doesn't seem like she has an evil bone in her body. It doesn't seem that she's really done anything. Again, we've followed her career. I've followed her career for many years and many things, and never have I ever heard of anything scandalous come from her or her family, for that matter. So it's great to see that justice prevailed, and she was awarded $1. You know, I mean, that was just
which is actually very common in cases like this. A symbolic monetary victory that they have to tax something on a dollar. It's actually very common.
I mean, if I were her, if I were in that position, I probably would have sued for I would have matched that, but I would have donated that money to charity and said, you know what, in essence, you're not giving it to me, you're giving it to charity.
Which is I get that, and it's a good way of thinking about it, but at the same time, it still is a bit vindictive, and I think she was trying not to do that, because penalizing him for a large amount of money like that is kind of an eye for an eye kind of a thing. I think she was maybe trying. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying
I was going to say,
I think she was trying to be more magnanimous than that.
I mean, in my opinion, it's like it's not vengeance. It's basic. I mean, yeah, it is vengeance. It's an eye for an eye. I mean, you're suing me, I'm gonna sue you right back. You know, I mean, it's not, you know, you want to go ahead and play this game. You want to try to go out for a payday. For me, it's a lesson for you to learn. Don't try to get a payday.
Eye leaves the whole world blind.
In other entertainment news,
Gandhi, baby.
In other entertainment news, Star Trek is set for a brand new series is coming to Paramount Plus, actually. And of course, we all know that Star Trek Picard, that's in its last season. Star Trek Discovery is actually going to be premiering its last season right after Picard ends theirs. And dude, again, Jeremy, I'm telling you, you got to watch the season of Picard. It's very, very entertaining, very fascinating. I would like to use Mr. Spock's words. It's very fascinating. So I would definitely recommend anybody to go ahead and watch Star Trek Picard this season, because they're practically bringing the entire cast from Next Generation back, and even some cameos from Voyager as well. So so far it's been very very entertaining, a lot of questions to be asked, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the end. I honestly think that the end of Star Trek Picard will do it justice, more so than the end of the Next Generation did, because it seemed like there was a lot of unanswered questions towards the end of Next Generation, which granted the movies answered a lot of it, but still it still didn't give it the ending that I liked, to be honest with you.
Well, you have to remember that Star Trek never wrapped up a series. It was never that final episode that answers all your questions and everything else, because it was supposed to be this continuing saga. So it's more of that's a newer trend, you know, for them to start trying to wrap up the questions of a certain series before they begin on a new one. That was nothing that they ever really did with the original series. So that wasn't the direction they were trying to go.
But it is paving the way for a new generation, for lack of a better word. The studios are actually have formally announced, this is coming from IGN.com, CBS Studios and Paramount Plus have formally announced Star Trek Starfleet Academy, a new Star Trek series that will follow a new class of Starfleet cadets. Production on the show is set to begin in 2024 in celebration of the series order. Co-showrunners and executive producers Alex Kurtzman and Noga Landau released the following statement that gives a little bit of insight into what Starfleet Academy is all about. It goes on to say, quote, "Admission is now open to Starfleet Academy. Explore the galaxy. Captain your destiny. For the first time in over a century, our campus will be reopened to admit individuals a minimum of 16 Earth years, or a species equivalent, who dream of exceeding their physical, mental, and spiritual limits, who value friendship, camaraderie, honor, and devotion to a cause greater than themselves. The coursework will be rigorous. The instructors among the brightest lights in their respective fields, and those accepted will live and study side by side with the most diverse population of students ever admitted. Today, we encourage all who share our dreams, goals, and values to join a new generation of visionary cadets as they take their first steps toward creating a bright future for us all. Apply today. Ex-Artist Centennial. That's actually really cool how they made that announcement, to be honest.
I think the announcement is awesome, but I am such a nerd, and I know this will probably not be the take most people want to see on this. But honestly, what I would want to see them doing that is make it about the academy, make it about what they're going through and what they're learning and everything else, which I know they're going to touch on. But this being Star Trek, there's going to be a lot of space travel, them exploring, something goes wrong and the new students have to, adapt and fix it or whatever. That's very traditionally Star Trek, and I'm sure that's what the fandom wants. But honestly, I mean, I would love to see make it a freaking, a high school show about being in the academy. I mean, make it about the relationships and the crap they have to go through. And, I wouldn't care if they even saw space in an episode. I would find it fascinating if they went completely off track like that.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking that that's probably where they're going to go. I'm assuming that's probably where they're going to go because, again, like you said, Starfleet cadets, they can't really leave the campus. They have to stay where they're at, or they have to stay in their same system, in the same solar system, because they have to practice, doing runs from Earth to Mars, Earth to Saturn, things like that. And that's how they practice, going through their school, how they learn. But it's one of those things where I honestly think that that's probably where they're going to go. And I'm like you. I look forward to seeing what happens. My question here is, what timeline are they going to use? Because at this point, we're Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard are on two different timelines. Mm-hmm. Discovery takes place I think 100 years into the future from Picard. And Picard is basically now. It's basically like what the timeline is now. So I'm curious to see what Starfleet Academy they're going to use, what timeline they're going to use, because the timeline that's in the future, according to what Discovery says, it takes place in a time where the Federation has parted ways. They've all gone their own separate ways. The Federation was dissolved due to a huge accident that happened. Now, is this Starfleet Academy a new Starfleet Academy that's going to start? Because they kind of teased it in Star Trek Discovery, where the cadets are starting to come back to Starfleet Academy. They're starting to learn certain things. So that's in Discovery. But are they going to use that timeline? That's the question. So
it'll be interesting to see.
We'll go ahead and wait to see what happens. Filming starts in 2024, so we'll look forward to that. JC actually had something to say. Jeremy Miller, if you want to nerd out, check LeVar Burton and Micah Burton's appearance on The View when Whoopi pulls a Geordie trick on him with breaking news between the longtime friends. So
I'll have to check it out. Thanks, JC.
Gonna have to check that one out. He also mentioned something having to do with Kurtzman. Says, I give Kurtzman a lot of credit for the amazing work on Picard, so I'm psyched to see what they come up with for the Academy series. I agree. They're doing a great job with Star Trek Picard, so I'm actually looking forward to that and seeing what else transpires when it comes to the new Star Trek Starfleet Academy. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. From Star Trek to Power Rangers, Amy Jo Johnson actually has announced that she is coming up with a brand new comic that shows the Power Rangers, her version of the Power Rangers. Now, many people on social media kind of gave her a little bit of a hard time because she didn't show up for the reunion that's set to air April 19th, my birthday, on Netflix, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I believe it's Power Rangers Forever, something like that. It's titled, and it premieres on Netflix April 19th. Now, the thing here is that everybody was assuming that it had to do with money, that Amy Jo Johnson did not show up there because of money reasons, because they didn't pay her enough. That's not the case, actually. According to from what Variety says, it basically has to do with time. It's just, she just didn't have time. She spoke to Variety and she said, quote, there were a bunch of different factors that came into play. One of them being I was working on other projects and I also have a 14-year-old. I stopped acting and switched my focus to writing and directing almost 10 years ago. I can give you a list of excuses. So that's one of the reasons why she decided not to come back. And actually, here's a little tidbit of information. She's actually directed, her directorial debut was in one of the episodes of Superman and Lois. That she actually directed one of the CW episodes of that TV show. So she's doing her own thing. She's directing, so she doesn't really have time. Now she has this new comic book that she decided to write. And I for one, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for Amy Jo Johnson.
I think it's really cool that she found another path that she's really, really enjoying. A lot of people move from in front of the camera to behind the camera, so it's really cool to see, and I wish her nothing but success. I was never of the age group that was interested in Power Rangers. That was more my younger brothers, my youngest brothers, my
And me.
baby brothers time frame. um, but I think it's awesome, and a lot of those kids on there ended up having some hard problems and going through some stuff, and it's good to see she found her way and is doing well.
Yeah, no doubt. And the new the 30th anniversary Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that's airing actually it has something to do with with Trini's daughter. Apparently they're gonna address Trini's passing in their version. And basically it has to do with Trini dying while she was a Power Ranger or something like that. Not too many details going on right there, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I'm actually looking forward to watching and to see exactly how they talk about Trini's death, and also the Green Ranger. How are they going to implement that? Because as we all know, he passed away just recently. He and that's something else that Amy Jo touched on as well, how he was part of her family as well. Like he pretty much was a part of the family. Jason David Frank was very close to the family with her, and so she took it very hard. She actually even did a dedication when he passed away. But my curiosity is, how are they going to implement that Green Ranger into the new 30th anniversary? I'm kind of curious about that, to be honest.
No, it'll be interesting to see how they go about doing it. There's plenty of ways, and there's plenty of, they could bring on a new character who's filled that role. They could bring on a relative who's filled that role. They can do there's a lot of different writing tricks and stuff like that, but it's hard, and as a performer and as an actor who's part of an ensemble, it's hard to go back to that when you've lost somebody. When we were in talks about moving forwards with a Growing Pains reboot, all of us were talking about how difficult it would be to move forward with a reboot without Alan, and to actually shoot it without him. So it's understandable that she'd have some reservations about that as well.
Yeah. So, and again, looking forward to seeing what she does with her book, and looking forward to the, Power Rangers reunion. I'm actually curious to see what happens. So you laugh. Okay. You laugh, but I was entertained by it. You know why I liked it? Because it has similarities to Voltron.
That's why I didn't like it, because I was like, you're a Voltron ripoff. Knock it off.
Yeah, I liked it, okay? I enjoyed it, all right? It was like a live-action Voltron for me, so that's why I got into it. They never did a live-action for Voltron.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And that was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. So,
well, there you go. So Power Rangers went ahead and did a live-action version of their Voltron. So there.
Like I said, I wish them nothing but the best, but I couldn't have been less interested by the time that came around.
Oh, Lord. In sports, Angels star Anthony Rendon under police investigation. Now, this has to do with an altercation that he had with a fan. This, according to TMZ News. There was actually an update as of 2:23 p.m. today. The Oakland Police Department says it has seen video of Anthony Rendon's altercation with the fan, and it has now launched an investigation into the matter. Although we are still unaware who the victim is. This is according to a spokesman for OPD, said in a statement to TMZ Sports on Friday afternoon. Surveillance video of the incident has surfaced as a result. OPD created an incident, made a report, and is actively investigating. Now, this shortly after Anaheim lost. They got into apparently the fans were, fans are going to be fans. They're going to go ahead and heckle. They're going to go ahead and be all happy about it. Players need to figure out how to calm down and not go into it, because they're fans. They're going to do that. It's got to go in through one ear, out through the other, not enable the fan, because that's just going to create a bigger friction.
I agree. It's really kind of ridiculous. I mean, given these are younger guys, a lot of them are hot tempered, they're very competitive, but you're a professional. You're being paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to play a game. Being responsible and being professional is part of your job. You have large security crews that protect these teams. You have large security crews at every stadium. There are people who will do your job for you if somebody gets out of line to the point where you feel you had to respond physically. You have people to do that for you now. Be a professional. It's kind of ridiculous, all these athletes going after fans in the stands. I mean, unless somebody lays hands on your family, what the hell are you thinking?
I mean, I think a lot of these athletes are becoming very sensitive towards fans. I mean, look at in the NBA. If a fan starts heckling one of the players, they get ejected. Now, most of these fans, they pay a lot of money to be right there. Now, do I agree with them throwing anything? No, absolutely not. They throw something, they get ejected. But words, sticks and stones, bro. Come on, sticks and stones.
Reggie Miller's got to be rolling over in his grave, and he's not even dead. I mean,
I was like, when did he die? You got me there with that. I was like, when did he die?
I mean, his battles with Spike Lee when they would play the Knicks are legendary. Oh, no. He would go after fans, never physically. He would jaw right back at them and then drain 30 points and turn to him and say, "What now?"
Same thing Jordan did. Jordan did the exact same thing. He's like, at one point I saw this video that a fan made where a fan was heckling him, and Jordan's like, all right, he just smiled. After he freaking sunk in 30, 40, whatever points it was, he looked at the fans like, that one's for you. And he pointed at him, like, that one's for you.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you talk back. That's how you fight back with a heckler. Not, you see that guy over there? I need him ejected because I can't play. I can't concentrate. I'm being paid millions of dollars and I can't win. Come on. Get over yourselves.
I agree, but on the lines of having him thrown out's better than going after him physically. I'll say that at least, but it's still BS. And, they need to act like professionals and get over this stuff. I mean, given it has gotten worse, I mean, to a degree, if you ask anybody who played football in the 60s about going into Philadelphia to play, they'll tell you it hasn't gotten any worse. It was the same back then. But, it's fans have become more entitled and feel like they can get away with more, and they do push the boundaries.
True.
But again, when you're being paid millions of dollars to play a game, and yes, it is your profession and your job, but let's look at the reality. You're still being paid to play a game.
And part of that money comes from where?
From the fans. Exactly. The people who are paying, your salary. And you may say, oh, well, they were in a different stadium. It's not their fans. Doesn't matter. Those fans are still paying your salary because there's revenue splitting in all sports now, or almost all sports anyway, the major league ones. Teams actually share revenue percentages at different times from the contracts, from the fans, from sales, from everything. Again, these are the people who are there paying for you to play a game.
Agreed.
If you didn't have them, you don't have a job. So they gotta stop with this crap.
They really do. They gotta stop enabling these players like that, and just listen to them and just be like, okay, yeah, we'll kick them out. No, come on. Get out of here with that BS. JC says, athletes need to remember, right or wrong, fans have a right to cheer, boo, make smart remarks as freedom of expression and not react to the negative ones unless they are physically attacked. Heckling is one thing and should just slide off their backs. If it gets physical, that's another thing altogether. And again, that's something that I agree as well. I mean, even in professional wrestling, in WWE, a fan goes over the divider, the thing that protects them or whatever, then they have the right to tackle them because at that point they're on private property. They need to because sometimes some fans get out of hand, they go in the ring and try to attack a wrestler. When they attack them, that's assault. That's a physical assault at that point.
And charges do get pressed nowadays, and those fans should feel lucky that this isn't 1970s when Ming would have ripped your head off right there in the middle of the ring and there would have been no charges filed against him. I mean, there are legendary stories of wrestlers being attacked by fans who took it too far and the wrestlers just opening up on them and putting them in the hospital. Wrestlers
Agreed.
never faced any consequences for that. Nowadays the wrestler would face consequences for doing something like that, and the fans have gotten entitled.
And you also got fans too with the female wrestlers. They try to like go ahead and touch and grab them and stuff like that. It's like, no. You can't disrespect somebody like that. You definitely don't have the right. You paid for a ticket not to go. If you want to go ahead and grab or something like that, go to a strip club. That's the place where you could go ahead and grab and not sometimes not even there.
And I've only been to a few back in my very much younger days, and all I recall, and from my friends who have been strippers and who've been dancers in exotic places and stuff, you're not allowed to touch or grab.
Well,
The bouncers will come and jump on you in about a heartbeat if those girls give them the right look.
I was about to say that's also the stripper prerogative too, because some strippers they actually allow you. Okay, go ahead and grab here. It just depends on how much they like you.
You apparently have more experience with strippers than I do.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, another sports news. Let's change the subject here quickly. LeBron James not paying $8 a month for Twitter blue check. Now, as we all know, on Twitter, you actually can pay $8 a month to get a little blue check mark next to your name. But LeBron, the billionaire, refuses to pay $8 a month for a blue check. And it's just funny because it's like, he actually tweeted and he said, quote, "Well, guess my blue check will be gone soon because if you know me, I ain't paying the $5." I don't get it. I mean, this guy really does not want to pay the money for a blue check.
Well,
it doesn't cost that much.
Let me give you the other side of that, because I know people, big name stars, who are not willing to pay for it. It's not because they can't afford it. It's because it's worthless now. Elon Musk decided to sell it to anybody who wants it. It doesn't matter anymore. It's worthless. It's a matter of principle that most people don't want to pay it anymore. Most big celebrities are like, screw it. It doesn't matter anymore. Any Joe Blow who wants to get a blue check can get a blue check. All he's got to do is pay $8. It doesn't mean anything.
And Joni would agree. Blue check is dumb. Anybody can now get it. She said dumb in big old capital letters right there.
Yeah, it just makes no sense. As soon as Musk made that decision, it devalued what that actually means and what it was meant for. So
you got to get a blue check.
Why in the world would anybody care if they had one now, if anybody can get it?
True, very true. I mean, I guess the blue check also signifies the popularity that the person has, the followers, and so on and so forth.
Well, it did at one point, the value and the recognition that you are a person of interest and really that person. Well, it just doesn't matter anymore. I mean, if anybody can do it, it doesn't matter. So,
yeah, and I mean, they're still doing the blue checks on Instagram. I know that, right?
I believe there's still the verified on Instagram as well as I think on Facebook, but
I know you're verified.
Yeah, I'm verified, and I worked hard to get that check mark on Twitter, and I haven't paid for it. I have no interest. Why would I? It doesn't mean anything, and most of my friends don't. They feel the same way.
Well, you and LeBron are on the same page for once.
Which is rare.
Which is very rare. In other sports news, a fan, speaking of fans going into where they're not supposed to be going, a fan gets tackled down to the ground by security after he jumps over into the Dodgers field to propose to his now fiance. And I saw the video. I think it was a little extreme what they did. The guy was on one knee. Security came and just like launched their whole body on this guy and just tackled him. It's like the guy wasn't running. He was on one knee. He was proposing to somebody. He didn't have a gun on me. He wasn't armed. Come on. You could have easily not gone that far.
It doesn't matter. They have to set an example. You cannot do that. I disagree completely, because every moron in the world's going to do it if you don't. If they're all nice about it and it's no big deal, every moron in the world is going to do it. I'll give you an example. When I met Joni in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, her cousin, I believe I may have the story wrong. She'll correct us, but either her cousin or her brother got arrested during Mardi Gras because someone pointed at him and said he dropped his pants and flashed me.
Oh, wow.
It actually wasn't him. It was the other person. So if it was her brother who got arrested, it was her cousin who had flashed. And if it was her cousin who got arrested, it was her brother who had flashed. But he ended up getting arrested. No questions asked. There was no explaining. There was no nothing. And a couple of nights later, I happened to be trying to go to a certain restaurant. It was going to close soon, and there was no tables. And a cop who was there after hours off duty, Joni said it was her cousin.
Yeah.
I knew she'd correct us, but this off-duty cop said, "Hey, you want to join me?" And let me sit at his table to have some dinner because there was just nowhere else for me to sit. And I sat there and we talked for a bit. And I asked him, I said, "Look, can I ask you something?" Why I posed the scenario to him and I said, why would he get arrested with someone can just point and he gets taken in. And he said, "Look, during Mardi Gras, there are 10,000 people on that street or in those streets every single time. We're 300 cops. We have no time to be able to ask questions. We ask the questions after you get taken down." And it's the same thing. They can't allow even one person with good intentions to get on the field and do that without serious repercussions because it will snowball.
I mean, it's one of those things where, okay, fine. I can agree that they have to set an example, but they could have verbally told him, "Get off the field now." I don't think they verbally told him.
And is that going to deter the next moron who wants to delay the game by jumping onto the field? No.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to the police. They verbally tell you before they shoot you, put down the weapon or else we will shoot you. Same concept. Get off the field or we will tackle you.
It is not the same. It is not. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. You cannot allow, it is already well known under any circumstances, you are not allowed to enter the playing field. Under any circumstances. They have thrown families out because a kid has gone over the side to grab a ball and then get back in the stands. That whole family gets ejected from the game immediately.
I don't know.
Was it hurting anyone? No, but that is a known fact. So you've had your warning. It's known. You've had your warning already from security and the police. You are not allowed to do this under any circumstances. They have to set the example. It's a deterrent.
Yeah, I don't agree. I'm sorry, just don't. It was too excessive for my taste. But the good news is his fiance said yes. They actually showed a picture of both of them on Instagram. According to TMZ Sports here, it says TMZ Sports did some digging, and as it turns out, the wild stunt was all worth it because the girlfriend said yes. The newly engaged couple even posed together for a pic after the dust settled, with the fiance sporting her new shiny ring. And I think he was sporting a new shiny shiner after he got beaten down. Oh my God. We got basically, to me, it was a little too excessive. JC seems to agree with you, Jeremy, saying that I'm in Jeremy Miller's side on this one. Humans are monkey see, monkey do. So if one gets away with it, others will invariably try. I mean, again, I'm not saying that not set example, just the approach, in my opinion, wasn't exactly the best approach to go about.
They didn't stomp him into the ground. They tackled him.
Dude, that was a hard tackle.
Yes.
No pads.
Good. They didn't stand over him and stomp him into the turf. They tackled him and put him down hard, as they should. That's their job.
I don't agree. I don't agree. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for being a part of the Navarro-Miller Report. Again, we're trying to be on here as much as we can. Again, scheduling conflicts. So if we're not on here or if we don't announce it, just know that we always announce when we come on. So no need to ask the question, will you guys be on? Trust me, if we announce it, we're going to be on. And if we have a cancellation or if it's last minute that we cancel or something like that, we will go ahead and say something about along the lines, or if something technical happens again, we'll go ahead and announce it. Wow, that was off for me right there. But we will try to make sure that we let you guys know. For now, we will be back on again this Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, you can always follow us on YouTube to check out the past episodes. We are available the next day on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio.com, Amazon Music, or Amazon, I think it was, it's Amazon Music. And of course on Spotify and many other places where you could go ahead and stream us. I always announce it on TikTok as well, so you can follow me on TikTok. Plus, I always do like a little radio TikTok every Saturday, so make sure you follow me. My TikTok is right on there, so you can follow me. I play everything from every music from 80s, 90s, and today, so make sure you check me out. Everything from pop to rock and everything in between, so make sure you check us out. But for right now, I'm Dave Navarro.
And I'm Jeremy Miller.
And we will see you here next time. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
You have been listening to the Navarro-Miller Report.